ABC, got ourselves another vinyl finds today. Got some exciting records for some low prices. Who doesn't love that? Stick around. Alright, so here we go. Found a record store out of East County that I really like. It seems like they have new soul and funk records all the time. Sometimes the condition is not the best. Sometimes it's very good. So let's go ahead. About this Jimmy McGriff's A Thing to Come By from 1970. It's like a soul jazz kind of a record. I'm not deeply into soul jazz or jazz, frankly. But you know what? I just got a new job, and I like to have music playing. But I also found that like singing and lyrics really kind of, sort of interrupt my rhythm. I find it very distracting to hear singers. So I just started looking at classic website funkmysoul.gr. Came up with this beauty, and I just kind of randomly put it on. Kind of coordinating, figuring out what was a decently reviewed Jimmy McGriff album. Found it on YouTube, and then I was like, oh, cool. So I listened to it. I'm like, this is great. Then I go to the store and I see this record, and I'm like, what? How is that even what? Anyway, this one was like $13, which is a little bit steep for what I'd normally pay, believe it or not. But great record, lots of sort of funky grooves. Again, no vocals. And Jimmy McGriff is a Hammond player, so there's a lot of cool organ bits and stuff. Great sounding record. I figured, when am I ever going to see this in the wild? The answer is probably never again. So I bought it. It's a good one. A Thing to Come By from 1970. This is the Isley Brothers' The Heat Is On from 1975. Personally, as far as the Isley Brothers go, I think their 72 album, Giving It Back, 1971 album, Giving It Back, and their 1972 album, definitely, Brother, Brother, Brother. Those are fantastic. Those are really great stuff. But that's kind of where I would start if I was looking to get into the Isley Brothers, although I'm into them, so it is what it is. But what's funny about this band is that, like, I always expect them to kind of disintegrate into this, like, loose, wild, insane funk that's just not really normally appealing to me. They just never really do that. So I'm starting to believe. I have 1977's Go For Your Guns too. That's a great album. And everything they do is all their funk is very tasteful at the same time. It's really kind of a thing of beauty. So anyway, I think basically with the Isley Brothers, you can almost go up to 79 here, which I wouldn't normally say about every funk artist. That is for sure. It's of my opinion that as soon as the machines came in and people started using the drum machines, etc., I mean, things just started to get a little loopy and not so good. But this record, very good. Obviously featuring Fight the Power. And look at these dudes. I mean, whoa, that's some well-dressed dudes. Apparently, you got some little bit of dry ice happening there at the show. Anyway, great record. I got this one for $6, which incredible deal, really. This is Dee Dee Sharp Gamble. This is, I think, I believe it's from 77. So Dee Dee Sharp basically was known in the 60s for doing like dance records. I think she was like an actress as well, but she did a song called Mashed Potato Time, which I suspect was after the dance, the mashed potato, and also one called Do the Bird. So anyway, then her career, I think, just kind of flattens for a bit. But then she ends up marrying, I believe it was, obviously Gamble. So it would be Gamble of Gamble and Huff fame. So she ends up on Philly International, does an album in 76. This is her album from 1977. What I heard so far is great. I don't know that I know enough to recommend it. I also don't know even that it's going to stay in the collection. but it was like $4, and it was, I figured it'd be cool. It's on Philly International. It's really, if you get anything almost on Philly International, it's really hard to fail. So anyway, this was a good pick anyway for $4. I'm not ever gonna see this again. So Dee Dee Sharp Gamble, What Color Is Love? So this is, I got this one, I think, it turned out I ended up getting this one for 50 cents. Which is kind of crazy. But one of the best duet albums, I guess, of all time. This one has got Where Is the Love on it. But it's got a bunch of other songs on it. As far as I was listening to it, I was like, yeah, this is really good. I love Roberta Flack. Her and Donny Hathaway got a bit of a thing. They basically did 2 duet albums. This is the first one, kind of the most popular one. And they also did one in '79, but not long or after that, Donny Hathaway died, which was just grim, real loss, real fantastic singer. A lot of people say that Stevie Wonder actually stole kind of his vibe, which is very possible if you listen to his 60s records and then his 70s records. You see how much he sounds like who? Like Donny Hathaway. So anyway, good record. Definitely worth 50 cents. But all this stuff is very widely available because this was very popular at the time. For 1969, Dionne Warwick with Soulful. This is it's basically a covers album of her doing a bunch of soul covers, but the woman is smoldering on this LP. I was like, whoa, I think I almost have to purchase this. It's a good look for her, is all I can say. And yeah, from what I heard, it's really good. Obviously, Dionne was more known for her sort of, I guess, supper club type of soul, sort of loungy type stuff with a lot of, Backrack David songs. But this is really good. I think obviously she's got the chops to pull off some soul covers. And this one, this one's got I've Been Loving You Too Long, People Get Ready, Do Right Woman. We Can Work It Out, just your classic kind of soul covers album, but I think kind of a marked departure from what she usually does. So I just figured I'd give it a shot. And again, wow, she'd be looking good. Is all I can, wow. Smoldering LP cover as well. This is Nightbirds from 1974. LaBelle. Featuring obviously the well-known classic Lady Marmalade. But what I think a lot of people don't recognize is that this is actually a very good album. A lot of gospel-y vibes, funky. Why? I think it has a lot to do with producer Alan Toussaint, who really, in my mind, mid-70s is like his absolute, the guy's a magic man. His solo stuff is good. All the producing stuff he did a lot of stuff with the Meters. He did an album with Frankie Miller. That's fantastic. So anyway, this really surprised me. This one actually was also $2. I was like, come on, man. Are you serious? They're serious. So I got this for $2, but I'm telling you, very good album. Worth a listen if you're looking for it. You can get it on streaming and stuff. But yeah, for me, it's the Alan Toussaint production. But again, I don't know. Look, this is my first album by LaBelle, but very good stuff. This I got to thank, obviously, Nadine at Soul Disco for this recommendation. I heard of these guys, but never really got into them. Anyway, this was kind of like their big album, and really good album. The big monster hit on the set. Well, there was a couple of songs. There was one called "Dirty Old Man" that was a hit kind of in Europe, and then there was "When Will I See You Again?" I think, right? Isn't it? Yeah, "When Will I See You Again?" I can't believe I actually. Because anyway, immense track. Number one, in top 5, all over Europe, and probably I think it was in the top 2. I think it reached number 2 in the United States. Really good song. This album is a Gamble and Huff production. Again, another Philly International. Production it's sumptuous, This is actually, believe it or not, I didn't know this. I doing a little research, but the 3 Degrees were actually ended up being Prince Charles's, now King Charles, favorite band, to the point that they performed at his 30th birthday party, and apparently they were guests at the wedding with him and Diana, and I'm just like, what the? Anyway, this album, as far as I can tell, this was kind of like their, not only their breakthrough, and their breakout, but also it didn't get much better for them from there. I have to get into more of their music because I'm sure a lot of it is good, and it appears that a lot of it is more disco oriented than this. But this one is very good, a very good album. I'm glad that I actually picked this one up for $5, which was like, are you kidding me, man? Another good one. So, When Will I See You Again? That's kind of a must. But also, just a stunner is If and When, which I had heard earlier sampled by a band called Low Fidelity All Stars back around 2000. Anyway, stunning track is If and When. So if you're looking around for a song, check it out. And then finally, wrapping it up, pretty solid vinyl finds. I believe the word is chuffed. And this one, I was like, what? Are you kidding me? This is 1971's Detroit Emeralds, Do Me Right, by the Detroit Emeralds on the Westbound label, which I always like. The same label as Denise LaSalle, number of other, I think, really cool artists. It's good. It's not going to change your world, but the fact is that, I saw this album. I mean, look at these dudes. Like, that's some fantastic outfits right there, one. And two, for me, there's just kind of a sense where, like, if I find records like this in the wild, and this one was $9, so, I'm like, oh, it's a little steep, but not really. It seems like people really undervalue soul records, like, just to an almost criminal point. I don't mind taking advantage of that. But at any rate, I'm like, when am I ever going to see this in the wild again? And the answer is probably not around here, not in Southern California. So I picked it up, and you know what? It's great. It's of the period. It's 71. In my opinion, it's almost difficult to find bad soul records between 70 and maybe 74. Quality tends to drift from there because, of course, you got disco coming in and killed a lot of soul people's careers. So there's that. But at any rate, this one, like I say, Do Me Right. The title track was, in fact, a hit. But yeah, that'll be it for the Vinyl Finds today. Like, subscribe. Thanks for hanging around to the end. I thought there was some fantastic records this week. Leave a comment if there's anything you want to know about these records. I'm doing the work. I'm listening to the music, and it's all fantastic. So thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time.